Go live button. Okay, we are now streaming live, but we are still waiting for a quorum. For anybody who's participating through the live stream, if you would like to make a public comment when public comment time comes up, please make sure you're connected by phone.
Hello, this is Dave Sanders. Can you all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Dave.
Hi, I'm sorry about that. I'm not available with my laptop, and I'm also in the airport, so I hope you can hear me.
We can hear you. And is that you, Gary?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Dave, with you and Gary on, we have quorum. Would you like us to start the meeting and call the roll?
Absolutely. Let's call the roll.
Okay, just 1 second. All right. When I call your name, please confirm your attendance. I'm going to go in order of the agenda. So Paul Gerard sitting in for Matthew Szabo.
Present.
Tony Royster.
Present.
Matthew Crawford sitting in for Matt Rudnick.
Present.
Holly Wolcott.
Present.
Dave Sanders.
Present.
Jennifer Grundall sitting in for Paul Beachley.
Present.
Chad Boggio.
Present.
And Gary Glaze.
Present.
Is there a JLMBC member attending that I did not call? All right, 4 members labor, 4 members management. We have a quorum and can begin.
Thank you, sir. We can open the lines for any public comments at this point.
At this time, anybody? Oh, no, you're correct. So at this time, if there's anybody who'd like to make a public comment and is participating by phone, please unmute yourself by pressing *6 and announce yourself at this time. Hearing no public comment, seeing no public comment.
And hearing none, I think the next agenda item would be the review of the minutes from last meeting. I'm sorry, I don't have the agenda in front of me at this moment.
That is correct, David. The minutes for May 16th, May 19th, and May 20th.
Okay. Yeah, so we'll have a review. Is there a motion to accept?
Motion to approve. Second.
So a motion is made and seconded, and we can do roll call.
Correct. And just for clarification, is the motion for all 3 sets of minutes?
Yes.
Correct. All right, we're going to do we'll go ahead with the roll call vote then, starting in the same order as the agenda at the top. So Paul Gerard, your vote.
Aye.
Paul votes aye. Tony Royster, your vote.
Aye.
Tony votes aye. Matt Crawford, your vote.
Aye.
Matt votes aye. Holly Wolcott, your vote.
Aye.
Holly votes aye. Dave Sanders, your vote.
Aye.
Dave votes aye. Jennifer Grundall, your vote.
Aye.
Jennifer votes aye. Chad Boggio, your vote.
Aye.
Chad votes aye. And Gary Glaze, your vote.
Aye.
Gary votes aye. It's unanimous. The motion passes.
Thank you, Paul. If you will call out the agenda item number, we'll go to the first agenda item. And again, I apologize, I don't have it in front of me now. If you will just open up the discussion for that agenda item, if you will.
Sure, no problem. So the next agenda item is item number 4, Committee Report 2022-32, the AB 361 report.
And I assume you will be doing that presentation?
Yes, so this is the regular report we've been bringing to each committee member, to each committee meeting, excuse me, declaring that there is still a reason to be able to meet telephonically under the Brown Act. And the recommendation is to adopt the resolution to continue this meeting cadence telephonically.
Okay. Any discussion, questions from any of the members?
I'll move approval.
Second.
Moved in second, and we'll take roll.
All right, we'll go in the same order. So Paul Gerard, your vote.
Aye.
Paul votes aye. Tony Royster, your vote.
Aye.
Tony votes aye. Matt Crawford, your vote.
Aye.
Matt votes aye. Holly Wolcott, your vote.
Aye.
Holly votes aye. Dave Sanders, your vote.
Aye.
Dave votes aye. Jennifer Grundall, your vote.
Aye.
Jennifer votes aye. Chad Boggio, your vote.
Aye.
Chad votes aye. Gary Glaze, your vote.
Aye.
Gary votes aye. It's unanimous. The motion passes.
Thank you, Paul, and I will refer to you for the next agenda item and open further discussion.
Sure. So that was our last action item. We'll move on to the informational items. The next item, number 5, is a benefits provider presentation from IMED. I believe Keenan is going to start.
Hi, thanks, Paul. My name is Melissa King. I'm from the Keenan team for the city. I'm joined today by Lisa Asbury, and we're going to go ahead and give you a presentation on the IMED 360. So we're going to start with the program overview, plan design and participation, and then we'll jump into utilization. From there, Lisa will do a deeper dive into plan performance and year-over-year analysis. So just an overview of the program. IMED has been the city's provider since 2017. The JLMBC has approved the contract extension through 2023. Just an overview of that contract. In March 2021, the city worked with IMED to transition to a new underwriter, creating a premium savings of 2.03%, which is a premium reduction on a monthly basis per member of 19 cents. What's really great is IMED was willing to work with us and provide us IMED 360 at no premium increase effective this month. So July 1st, we've transitioned to IMED 360. What that means, there's a zero copay at those IMED Plus providers, as well as a $50 frame allowance in addition to the frame allowance at those Plus providers. We also now have the ability to use the lenses and the glasses and the contact lens allowances within the same year, allowing for an extra $150 spending. Also, we have a separate contact lens fit and follow-up coverage. IMED 360, how can we access that? We're already seeing that 100% of your suburban and urban population have access to at least 2 providers within 10 miles. And then your rural have access to 1 provider within 20 miles. And 2021, taking a look at that utilization and seeing where those individuals were going, we're already seeing that 62% of subscribers who are utilizing their benefits are seeing those at those IMED Plus providers. So it's going to be really easy for your members to already realize those benefits. And anyone who wants to transition to a Plus provider can do so and realize those benefits as well. So jumping into the plan design, just an overview of that. We have a $10 copay for exams and a $0 copay now at those IMED Plus providers. Again, we have a frame allowance of $150 that jumps up to $200 at those IMED Plus providers, and both any amounts over that allowance is 20% off. Lenses, there's a $10 copay, contact lenses, $0 copay, and again, that $150 allowance, again, can be used simultaneously with the glasses frames allowance during the same year. Network benefits are available. And then retinal imaging is available at $10. The enrollment, last year we predicted there would be decline enrollment for 2021. We did realize that and seeing that there is a 7% decrease, which is around 4,000 less members that would be subscribers and dependents. With the decreased enrollment, we did see an increased utilization. By plan, we're seeing a decreased enrollment of 8% for Anthem and Kaiser at 6%. And then a decline in enrollment year over year since 2017, around 3.5%. Again, based upon the open enrollment and the plan performance in the first quarter of this year, we're predicting a decline in enrollment for 2022 of around 2.2%. And then jumping into utilization. So again, we have seen that increase in enrollment. A decrease in enrollment, but an increase in utilization. So those subscribers who are subscribing are seeing their providers better than prior years. So we have an increase to 30.6% compared to 23.5% in 2022. So again, overall exam utilization is 30% higher. And that exam utilization we're seeing is pretty on par with IMED's book of business, where they're seeing from all of their users being around a 32% utilization. And then 4% of our utilization last year did identify high risk conditions, including hypertension, diabetes, and cataracts being most common of those conditions. We're seeing that material utilization did increase last year as well. And glasses continue to be the most popular utilized material item compared to contact lenses, around 80% for 2021. Looking at your network utilization, we're seeing most of subscribers are using those at independent providers, and then everyone else mostly at those retail big box locations, and just a small population going out of network. And Lisa will take over now.
I don't seem to have control. If you would advance to the next slide, that'd be great. I don't have control of the deck here. So these are the topics that we're going to review, and most of the executive summary is what we just heard there in terms of kind of the overall landscape. We'll look at a little more closely the utilization, both the exam and the network component, discuss performance guarantees, and then take some questions. And this is your meeting, so if you want to pause me in the middle and speak to certain slides, we can take questions that way or hold them all to the end. It's entirely up to you guys. May I have the next slide, please? So again, just to repeat, what happened by way of activity in the last plan year is that premium reduction was applied for March 1st. To carry through at that time what would have been the natural end of the contract, which would be end of this year, but we've also then offered the additional extension through this year with that addition of the I-360 program. We did successfully transition to Fidelity Security Life. We were previously underwritten by Combined Insurance Company of America, so that transition was very smooth and seamless to our members. Just some internal admin stuff that we were doing on our side to kind of streamline our own processes. So no impact on the membership in terms of what they see in terms of their member benefits or any materials that we mail to them. And then we also supported through the most of 2021, the manual reconciliation of that cash in lieu population. That was quite a project, kind of initiated on the LifeWorks side, but obviously had impact on our Vision membership as well. As we heard, our membership did decrease over the prior year. Again, that was expected disenrollment with regard to the overall city population. So no surprises, just repeating here what the impact was on our Vision plans. However, coming out of the pandemic year, coming out of 2020, we did see a natural increase in utilization. So we're not back to where we were at 2019 levels just yet. I anticipate we are coming kind of more whole to where we had been prior to the pandemic, but a nice increase over the 2020 plan year. We did see.
I'm sorry, excuse me a minute. I'm sorry. This is David.
Hi,
Dave.
Dave.
I have a quick question. Hi, how are you? And I don't have the report in front of me, but the 7% decrease was anticipated because of a 7% decrease in the city population. That's the reason.
That was the decrease in the city's population enrolled in the Vision plan. Yes.
It was 7%, but we anticipated that because the cities has lost 7% of their employees.
We had we had significantly higher enrollment in the Vision plan than we in 2020. The membership number was really high. So I believe part of that was through the reconciliation with the cash in lieu. It was an expected decrease as we were informed of. We should expect a decrease in 21 over the prior year, 2020.
And the reason for that, I'm sorry.
Oh, I believe it's also partly due to SIP, if I remember correctly, the separation incentive program.
Okay, and the SIP was 7% decrease. Is that equal 7%? Is that correct?
It was 7% in the IMED enrollment. I'm not sure how that compares to the larger city disenrollment overall.
And that was my question for Paul. Was the SIP a 7% decrease in employees?
I'd have to look back. I don't have the number available for me right now, but I think it was more than that. I think this was just the effect on the IMED plan.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. Thanks for that question. So the comparison here is from the city's increase again in utilization for 2021. The IMED book of business overall saw similar increases. We landed at 117% of the prior year 2020 on the exam utilization and 119% of materials utilization overall book of business. So as the city or members of the city started to re-engage, so did the larger IMED book. The IMED numbers are a bit higher, obviously, because we're a national population, and California as a state was a bit more conservative in terms of return to work and return to activity than, let's say, states in the South or in the middle of the country. So the overall IMED utilization was just a bit higher. But as I mentioned, I anticipate our 2022 utilization to start tracking closer to our 2019 levels. As we heard earlier, we had a number of members identified as high risk, so diabetic, cataracts, and hypertension, although our members are not translating the new benefit they have with the diabetic plan and taking advantage of that. We've seen less than 1% of exams utilized on that diabetic program now that it's available to city membership. And diabetes, in fact, represented 1.3%. Those with diabetes represent 1.3% of all exam claims that we see. So an opportunity to recommunicate that benefit is there for our diabetic members as we start approaching communications for open enrollment. Overall, the benefits saved City of Los Angeles members 5.8% over the cost of retail services, about $252 per transaction saved when members engage with the plan design. Next, please. So this is a breakdown of our enrollment. So Dave, this kind of speaks to that 7% in broad terms, overall, everyone in the pool together, but then also takes a look at the the largest medical plans there. Anthem had an 8% decrease, and they represent about 34% of the total enrollment, and about 6% decrease in the vision enrollment from Kaiser members, and Kaiser represents 64% of the total enrollment. As you can see, our cash in lieu membership makes up a very small portion, but their numbers did also kind of decrease a little bit in 2021. If we move to the next slide, we can make this more meaningful by way of that exam utilization. So as we heard, we've been the vision carrier since January of 2017, and at that time, we saw in 2017 similar utilization patterns as we saw in 2021. So what we're noticing here is the longer members have with the plan, the more information they get, word of mouth, they read their member communications, they engage with the microsite. We've seen a nice shift in utilization, and this is combined utilization, both members who receive services direct with IMED, and we pull in the exam data from the Kaiser members as well. So this is total enrollment combined. So we bested, obviously, our 2020 performance, mostly because of the stay-at-home orders that started, I believe it was March of 2020, and persisted for us here in California almost through the mid-summer. Members started to engage with benefits late 2020, but again, in 2021, our members are realizing we're spending more time on our computers, with our devices. Dry eye has become kind of a very prevalent thing post-pandemic. So members are starting to re-engage with their exam benefits. And you can see that so far, and this data goes through, I believe, March of 2022, we've already seen 28.5% of members re-engage with the exam benefits. So an increase of 30% over the prior year. We did see a slowdown again, the end of 2021, because of the emergence of the Omicron variant. Now that we are kind of more engaged and a little tired of COVID, depending on how long it's been for some of us, we should start to see members starting to pick up that utilization in this current plan year, particularly now that we have the new benefits with I-360. Next slide, please. So this picture breaks down kind of, again, that year-over-year comparison, looks at the difference between our two medical plans on both the exam and the materials fronts. In 2021, the increase in utilization for the City of Los Angeles, again, was on par with the IMED book. We're at 30.5% for the city and about 32% for IMED. Overall, again, that's a 30% pickup over the prior year. Exams in particular for IMED members, so not the Kaiser population, but IMED, those who are enrolled in IMED saw 16%, everyone's enrolled in IMED, but those who went to an IMED provider for their exams, it's 16% more folks went in 2021 as compared in 2020. Anthem represented 46% of all exams that took place in 2021. So they're a lower percentage of the overall enrolled population, but in 21, they represented 46% of every exam that took place, where Kaiser was 53% of all exams. So we're also starting to see a shift of members who have been historically on the Kaiser platform and accessing their exam through the Kaiser channel, moving over to experiencing their benefits, kind of exam and materials with the iMed provider network. Again, the diabetic plan represented less than 1% of all members who took advantage of that additional exam. So for our diabetic members, they're eligible for their routine exam, which the plan covers, and then a second exam for the continued management of their condition. And there are 3 other tests that they're also eligible for every 6 months. So again, an opportunity to recommunicate that to members to make sure that those who need that additional level of care are receiving it. Again, 4% of all exams in 2021 identified a high-risk condition, and the most 3 common for the city were hypertension, diabetes, and cataracts. So we want to make sure, again, that the messaging on routine exams annually is something that we're discussing with members as they engage with benefits. On the materials side, again, similar gains from over the prior year. 11.5% more members went and received either glasses or contacts. Materials utilization, however, as a comparison to the iMed book, we saw less utilization by the City of LA population than we did the iMed book of business. And as we heard earlier, city employees tend to prefer eyeglasses to contacts. So 79% of folks chose eyeglasses and 21% of folks chose contacts. And I would imagine for myself, as an example, it's easier for me to wear glasses post-COVID, just with dry eye and things of that nature. So not a surprise, and that's actually fairly consistent with your utilization since 2017. Next, please. So this slide kind of breaks down that choice component that we believe is why iMed is a good fit for the City of LA. So our network is comprised of 76% independent providers and 24% retail provider locations. 96% of our membership receive services in network, with the lion's share of those members choosing an independent provider. So it's similar to the makeup of the network. 54% receive services with an independent, and then 21% at lens crafters, 11% at other retail. So other retail providers would be locations like America's Best, for example, 10% at Target, and again, 4% out of network. But what this demonstrates is that having retail is a valuable component of the network. Members can engage with this benefit when it makes sense based on their lifestyle, their work, and the things that their families need. Retail locations offer longer hours and things of that sort. So a very critical component of the network. And you can see that 39% of members had their exam in a retail location, and about 44% of members also chose materials in that same retail setting. This slide demonstrates, again, based on that choice of where members want to go to receive services, that it's entirely at their discretion where they receive services. This demonstrates kind of the value or how far their dollars go when they engage with the network. So we have the $150 base allowance that is available to every member regardless of provider type. And on average, members for the City of LA chose a frame that retailed for $190. It's about $3 more than they chose for frames in 2019. What we'll notice as we start to measure utilization after the 7/1 timeframe, where the new benefits go into play, is that $190 will likely go up, because members who choose to receive services at a Plus location will not only receive that $10 reduction on their exam copay, but they'll also receive $50 or $200 for that frame allowance moving forward. So generally speaking, we'll see that overall retail frame line go up, because members will have access to more product with that additional $50 when they shop at the Plus locations. 34% of members in 2021 shopped for frames within their allowance. So that's about an 8% reduction over the prior year. So we have seen with the city where members are choosing frames, about 43% of folks in the prior plan year in 2019 were able to find or chose a frame at the $150 allowance or less. However, our providers are required to carry at least 100 frames at a retail dollar of $130, so that with our $150 allowance, members have access to over 500 frames at a covered and full amount across the network. Thank you. And so this slide speaks to, again, what we heard at the top of the presentation here. I360 is designed not only to support wellness, which is that removing that barrier, that $10 exam copay. So removing that speaks to driving the wellness component of your benefit, which again is that routine annual eye exam, but also adds an additional value perspective for members as well with that additional $50. So the only thing members need to do is identify the Plus provider location. When they go to the microsite, which is imed.com/City of Los Angeles, they'll see when they click in their zip code, those locations that are Plus and offering those additional benefits. The member isn't interested in seeking out a Plus provider, there's no change to the benefit at its core. But this really encourages more consumerism on the part of our members. Not only does I360, again, remove that copay, taking it from 10 to 0, adds that additional $50. When members are shopping, they also have access to our special offers, which again layer on top of even the I360 benefit. All of that's available behind the login on the microsite for members to access. The Know Before You Go tool will demonstrate in the cart exactly how those benefits layer on top. This year, LensCrafters is offering an additional $25 on a complete pair purchase. So someone who shops at LensCrafters tomorrow, uses the I360 benefit, will not only get that now $200 frame allowance, $0 on their exam copay, that $25 goes right on top, adding more value to the membership when they purchase. One of the nice features of this benefit that was crafted back for 2017 was taking that retinal imaging, which takes a digital image of the interior of the eye and offers your provider a year-over-year look at the health of the eye. So things like dry eye, tears in the eye. The eye exam is the only place where blood vessels can be seen with no cutting. So this retinal image is a picture that demonstrates from year to year the health of the eye and allows our provider a deeper look into managing certain conditions that come up as we age. Dry eye, again, is something that many more of us are starting to experience post-pandemic because of our extra use of devices and things of that sort. So this retinal imaging copay that the City of Los Angeles offers is a $30 savings to the membership. Also a great component in that, again, that high risk detection or early detection of high risk conditions. In 2021, 36% of all exams that were performed for City of Los Angeles members included that retinal imaging, which is a 7% increase over the prior plan year. And then again, here are the details of that diabetic benefit that our members have access to. Again, every 6 months, an additional exam, and then the 4 tests that you see listed here. Diabetes continues to be the second highest risk condition that we see in this population. So very important to continue to communicate the availability of this benefit. And only 9% of our book of business offers this plan. So it's definitely unique as an offer for our population. This, again, repeats the I360 benefits at member level. So what, again, it is it takes that copay that we have today of $10, reduces that to 0, and adds that $50 to our frame allowance. And this is at the Plus provider location. So the image there that you see below the doctor is the identifier on the locator that members will see when they're looking for where this benefit is available. Again, it focuses on wellness by removing that barrier to the exam, taking that copay down to 0. Again, special offers layer right on top. So any special offer that's available at a plus location is in addition to that increase in the frame allowance. And again, it's very easy to use. Our members don't need a code. They don't need a coupon. When they're in a plus location, that benefit shows right up on the provider's screen and they apply it right there at point of impact.
Sorry, can we go back one? I have one question on the retinal imaging. For other clients that do have, I know it's a small percentage of your book of business that has that coverage included, but for those that do, what tends to be a typical utilization for that? Because I'm looking at 36% are using it, and it's only $10. Like, in my mind, I'm thinking, why would you not use it?
Right.
So I'm just kind of curious, what the typical utilization is for that, if you could. Thank you.
So we delivered in 2 formats. Most of our clients, so as you see, so 90% of our clients offer retinal at a discounted amount of $40, a $40 copay.
Okay.
The 10% that are like the city have a copay that ranges from $0 to $20. And the 36% utilization is probably on par with that 10% of clients. But it's also, if you think about it, if you've had it, I have retinal imaging every time I go to the doctor.
Mm-hmm.
It's a process. So depending on, I'm kind of making this up to an extent, right? My gut says with regard to retinal, it's about time more than anything else. Mm. If I'm having my exam in the middle of my workday, I have probably less time than I would if I were going on the weekend. And so it adds an additional 10 minutes. It can add an additional 10 minutes to the process. But I think most members think of it as, again, and I don't want to overestimate what vision means to most of us, right? Vision's all I do, so I'm very passionate about it. Most of us think of the annual eye exam when we need to renew our driver's license or when we're taking our kids back to school. So I think it's just one of those things that we just have to continue to message the value of it and what it delivers to us to see that that level of utilization increase. I would love to see everyone that had an exam also had retinal. It's just a matter of conditioning the member to why it's important to then, ensure that they follow it through. But I would say the 36% that you see there for the city is on par with what we see across the book of clients that have it at a copay amount.
Okay.
Even those that have it at 0. Even those that have it at 0. Not higher utilization, even when it's free.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. These are our key performance metrics or performance guarantees. The arrow there kind of speaks to the things that are member facing or member critical. So these things drive member satisfaction. And those are the ability to process claims quickly and accurately. And that's across all of our claims. So 97% of all of our providers file to IMED electronically. That's how we're able to meet most of these metrics here. It's not just that we're really good at what we do. It's we build systems for providers to use to ensure that benefit application happens correctly. Providers aren't calculating the City of Los Angeles benefit. It is built into a matrix. So when they pull up member X that works for the City of Los Angeles, the benefit is right there for them. So all they need to do is input the materials and services the member has, and the system calculates the rest. But that 99% of claims paid in 10 days also includes those members who receive services out of network. It's very important for us, regardless of how the member engages with the benefit, that if they have paid for something out of pocket, that we return those dollars to them as quickly as possible. And part of our commitment to delivering that was making the out-of-network claim form electronic and available on the microsite. So the quicker members get that data into, or that service into us, the quicker we're able to reimburse them. The other pieces here that are very critical to member satisfaction is ensuring that when members are calling IMED, they're getting their calls answered quickly and having their concerns resolved. We operate the longest hours in the business at 102 per week in our call center, Monday through Saturday on the West Coast, 5 in the morning till 8 in the evening, and 8 to 5 on Saturday. We want to be available when members are trying to use this benefit. And we know that if someone is taking the time to call us, we want to get that call answered and get them moving throughout the rest of their day. And then that member satisfaction that you see there is an actual telephonic survey that members will receive within 2 days of completing the service. So we want to make sure that we are clear on how their experience was with the provider and the benefits, and want to report back to you that in 2021, 97% of the city members were highly satisfied with their vision benefits. That is the end of the presentation. Are there any additional questions I can answer for you this morning?
Are there any comments, questions from members? I have a question. Are you all, being as a city's population now coming back to work, are you scheduling or anything scheduled for the pop-up clinics?
We are discussing that, Dave. Great question. We have dates on the calendar for October that we will review. I think our next meeting is next week. So that's something we've discussed on our monthly kind of internal touch bases with the city team. But we have those on the calendar and hoping to be able to deliver those this year for you.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Any questions? Yeah. Any other questions? Listen, I think it was an outstanding report. I don't know how anybody competes with you all. It seems like you are the Cadillac of Cadillacs, all that good stuff. So thank you very much for the report.
We try. Thanks so much, Dave.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Paul, our next agenda item, is there no questions behind that?
Sure. So it doesn't look like there's any other questions. We'll move on to item number 6, which is Committee Report 2022-33, the Livewell Program Update for the month of May.
Okay.
Good morning. My name is Brianna Collins. I am a benefits analyst with the Employee Benefits Division. I am going to be going over the Livewell Program Report for May of 2022. Starting at the beginning, we give a rundown of the main newsletter, which emphasizes taking care of your mental health, the schedule to the live fitness classes, which are offered via Zoom, our monthly cooking class, employee, and ends with a healthy recipe. Moving down further to part 2 of the report, we give a rundown of the main newsletter, which includes a summary of the traffic to our website. The graph does indicate a decrease in visitors compared to the last 2 months, returning to normal numbers after a spike caused by the Parent Resource Hub being released in March. The numbers in item A show around 1,500 unique visitors and around 3,000 page views. The first graph does show home and the wellness event page being the top 2 pages most viewed. Moving down a little further down, we see the social media posts we shared on Instagram and Facebook and include a breakdown of the Zoom exercise classes. We offered 55 live classes, a little further down, sorry. We offered 55 live classes and had 728 participants, the most popular being midday stretching, Zumba, and cardio kickboxing. We did introduce 2 new classes, core conditioning and Tai Chi, to the schedule that month. These are the most important highlights for Live Well in May. Does anyone have any questions?
Hearing no questions from committee, thank you very much for the report. Paul, our next agenda item.
Sure. And our last report for the day is item number 7. It's Committee Report 2234, the LAWell Program Update for May and June.
Good morning, JLMBC members. This is Chung Tran, and I will be going over some of the highlights from the Projects and Activities report. First up on page 1, we have report concerning LifeWorks. LifeWorks recently advised that they have entered into an agreement to be acquired by TELUS Corporation, a Canadian communications technology company. The acquisition agreement is pending regulatory approval, and no changes is expected until the acquisition is approved and closed, which is expected to be completed sometime during the fourth quarter of this year. For our second item, we have an update on the ACA RFP. A review of the 2 received proposals have been completed, and Benefitscape was selected to perform the ACA eligibility and tax reporting services. Negotiations is currently in progress and is expected to be completed this month. Moving down to our third item, planning for the 2023 benefit plan year has begun. Starting last month, EPD and LifeWorks staff have met several times and are continuing to meet regularly to discuss changes, requirements, and to work out the implementation plan for the 2023 benefit plan year. Jumping down over to the second page and moving down a little bit further, we do have some staffing updates to report. Unfortunately, one of our staff members, Daniel Perez, has accepted a position with the Bureau of Public Works. However, I am happy to report that we have filled one of our vacant benefit specialist position with Maricela Hernandez. She started with member services this week and previously worked for the Los Angeles County. And with that said, this brings this report to a close. I am happy to answer any questions you may have.
I have a question there. The acquisition company name again, and what was the date? When does this transition fully happen?
The acquisition company, LifeWorks has entered into an agreement to be acquired by TELUS, TELUS Corporation. They are a Canadian communications and technology company, and the acquisition is still going through the regulatory approval process, but is expected to close sometime the fourth quarter of this year.
And is there a local or U.S. offices here, or just Canadian communications company in Canada?
I will have to look.
Located local?
I'm sorry, David. I will have to check in on that. They are Canadian based. They may have office locations in the U.S., but I will need to look into that and get back to you.
And again, there's no impact as we see it right now to the services provided to the membership.
Correct. There's no impact at the moment, but LifeWorks, has indicated that they will update us, once it's closed and once they have further information.
Okay. Thank you. Are there any other questions from committee members? Thank you very much for the report, and welcome to your new staff person.
Thank you very much.
Paul, there's no other questions. We can move to the next agenda item.
The next agenda item is item number 8, request for future agenda items.
Are there any requests from any members? Does Paul Gerard have his hand up? I can't see.
No,
I do not, Mr.
I
Sanders. Thank you. But thank you for
Thank
always looking out for me, Mr. Sanders. I appreciate that.
You're welcome, sir. All I see, there is no request for additional items, and you can move on and we can make the adjournment, or is there another item?
Well, the last item before adjournment is item number 9. Next meeting dates. Our next regular meeting is August 4th, and then the next regular meeting after that is scheduled for September 1st.
Okay.
And then with that, the last item is adjournment.
Thank you very much. Thank you all. Have a good day, and then we are officially adjourned. Thank you all. Bye.
Thank you.